We are in a new generation of webcams where we're seeing 4K resolution as a recording option wrapped into these small form factor devices to be set up in a matter of seconds. Say what? The Elgato Facecam Pro and the Insta360 Link webcam are two of the top webcams out there today, and we're going to be comparing them to see which one stands above the other. For full transparency, Insta360 did send me their webcam as well as the Elgato Facecam Pro for free to test in this video, but they did not pay me to sponsor or to say anything negative or positive about either one of these cameras. These webcams are definitely not on the cheap side. They each come in at $300, but I first want to take a look at the technology differences between these two webcams. On the Insta360 Link, you're going to get 4K 30 or 1080p 60 resolution with a 1/2-inch sensor. You get a 26mm f1.8 lens. The webcam has a screen mounting clip built on it as well as a mount for a tripod on the bottom. This webcam also harnesses the power of AI for face tracking and gesture controls, and this webcam also doubles as a gimbal. The Elgato Facecam Pro can record up to 4K 60 or 1080p 60 resolution with a 1/1.8-inch sensor. The lens in this webcam is a 21mm f2.0 lens. It comes with a detachable screen mounting clip as well as a tripod mount on the bottom. The sensors that these webcams have are some of the biggest ever implemented on a webcam. If you're not familiar with what a sensor is, it's essentially going to let in more light to the camera so that you can get a clearer image and have less noise in your footage. The Elgato Facecam Pro has a slightly larger sensor size, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to have the better image quality. You also have to consider the quality of the lens that's within these webcams as well as the image processing that takes place. We're going to see how these images look in just a second. With each of these webcams, you're going to get a USB-C to USB-C cable in the box. And though these cables may look the same, they are actually quite different. The Insta360 Link cable has a USB 2.0 connection, whereas the Facecam Pro has a 3.0 connection, making the Elgato camera a little bit more limited on the ports that it can use. The Insta360 Link camera will not require USB 3.0 in order for its features to work. Plus, I did like the fact that they included a Type-C to Type-A adapter in case you need to use this webcam with a USB Type-A port. On your computer, after you've plugged in either one of these webcams, you can easily add the webcam as a source within OBS. All you need to do within one of your scenes is go to your sources, select the plus button, go to video capture device, name it whatever you'd like, and in the device dropdown you can select the webcam. For the preset, you can set that to as high as a 4K resolution. No matter the resolution you end up using your webcam in OBS you're going to need to make sure that your base canvas corresponds to the resolution of the webcam. Now, when using other meeting or voice chat software like Discord, Teams, Zoom, you can easily add either of these webcams by going to the software settings and selecting the webcam. Can you guess which webcam is which? You should have a good idea based on the specs I mentioned earlier in the video, but if you want to know the answer, the left side is the Elgato Facecam Pro and the right side is the Insta360 Link. What are your thoughts? Is it what you thought it was going to be? It is worth mentioning here that this is what the webcams will look like out of the box. What you see is what you'll get when plugging and playing. Now, in that comparison, we were looking at these webcams in 1080p quality, but where these webcams shine is in the 4K resolution it offers. So what you see right here is the Elgato Facecam Pro in 4K. Also, with the Facecam Pro, you're going to notice that the field of view with this lens is much wider than the Insta360 Link webcam. Using this 4K image quality, even if you downscale it to 1080p in your OBS project or in your editing software, will still turn out sharper than if you're just recording in 1080p. Now let's take a look at the Insta360 Link webcam in 4K. If we zoom in on parts of the image, you can definitely see that there is an increase in clarity and sharpness in the image compared to what we were seeing in the 1080p resolution. And I almost forgot to mention that this webcam comes with its own built-in microphone. The quality is nowhere near a standalone USB or XLR microphone, but it's definitely a nice feature to have. I'm sure you're making your own assumptions now on the image quality between these two webcams, but before I comment on them, let's leverage the webcam's corresponding software to see how much we can improve these images. Starting off with the Insta360 Link controller software. If we look to the left-hand side, you're gonna see this camera icon for turning the preview off and on, and this is gonna be very useful, especially for those of you guys that are on on Windows computers for using this camera in other applications such as OBS. Now, to the right of that, you're gonna see the resolution, which you'll be able to select all the way up to 4K, as well as 1080p and 720p. If you look to the middle, this is where we're gonna get those special features that really only Insta360 has. The first one here being the tracking. So if you turn this on and you start moving around, the camera will follow your face around until you tell it to stop with one of the hand gestures, which is just your hand like that, and it'll stay in place. Next to that, you have a whiteboard mode. We're gonna pretend that this is a whiteboard. If you know, you know, but let's click on this feature, and now it zooms right in to my whiteboard. Keep in mind that you have to have these stickers on the corners of the whiteboard for it to detect where your whiteboard is. Without that, it won't work. Next, we have overhead mode and also desk view. Depending on how you have your camera set up, select one of these modes and that'll give you a nice viewing angle of your desk. And if you need to make adjustments to your camera, you can just go ahead, touch it, feel it a little bit, make those small tweaks and adjustments, and it'll still stay within that mode. Now, if at any point you want to make manual adjustments to your camera, you can go over to the right hand side here to control the gimbal positioning if you'd like, without having to touch it physically. You can also zoom in if you'd like as well. And this is really great, especially if you're using 4K, because you won't get such a great quality loss. I think I like mine where it is here. So what I can do is select this plus button to add a position. You can add up to 6 different positions to save an adjusted position. I'm gonna right click it and then update. And now those settings will be saved to that position. And if I want to go back to position 1, I select position 1. If I want to go to position 2, I select position 2. If you want to take a screenshot or record video, you can do that right within the application by going over to these 2 icons on the bottom right-ish hand side. The left button here is going to be for taking that screenshot, and then the right one will be for recording. Next, if we go over to the image settings tab, this is where you can adjust the exposure, the white balance, color, saturation, all that good stuff. You can either have it to auto, which I think looks really good to be honest, or if you want to take a more manual approach, you can uncheck that and then adjust things to the way that you want. So you can control the ISO, which is really just how much light you want coming into your image. The more you have this reduced, the less grainy it'll be. You can also adjust the exposure curve. This is on auto. This is with my adjustments. Auto, adjustments, auto, adjustments. Now in more settings, this is where you get a little overview of the gesture controls. So you saw that I did one a little bit earlier with the hand up, so that way I can control the motion of the camera. Well, there's another one for zoom. So if I back up a little bit, zoom, there will be a blue indication light on the top of the webcam letting you know that the gesture control has worked. Tracking speed, auto tracking, and single tap tracking are good to keep at default. The AI zoom feature can be good to have on in case you're moving around and you want to have a certain part of your body exposed when you're showing something using this camera. Anti-flicker and autofocus are good to keep as they are. If you want to take advantage of some extra capabilities as a streamer, then you can turn on streamer mode. This will reset the camera briefly. And if you go over to the left-hand side, you're gonna see an additional option at your disposal, 1080 by 1920. This is gonna give you the vertical look for your streams or recordings. You won't have this feature unlocked unless you're in streamer mode. The smart adjustment feature is great to have enabled so that every time that you turn on the camera, it'll automatically position itself in the best position based on the detected faces. And lastly, you have the option to turn on HDR as well as mirroring your image if you want. Something else that's really cool about the Insta360 Link software is that if you minimize it, you're going to have a control panel that will be displayed over your desktop that you can grab, move around to wherever you'd like, and you'll have complete control over the functions and features of your Insta360 Link camera without having the application fully open. Now let's take a look at the Camera Hub software used with the Elgato Facecam Pro. The first thing that we can see on the left-hand side is the device dropdown. So let's say you have multiple cameras from Elgato plugged into your computer. Well, you can select each of those individually using this drop down. Below that, you have your frame section to control what the field of view will be for this webcam, so you can bring it in to as much as you want. And then you can also grab this blue box below to control where you want the camera angle to be. For the Facecam Pro, you can also set 4 different presets for the positioning of the webcam. So right now I'm in A, but if I go to B, it looks like this, C looks like that, and D looks like that, but I can control either one of these presets just by dragging it around. I can adjust it a little bit. To save it to a preset, I just need to go and select that preset, but hold it down a little bit, and that way it saves to the preset. For some additional settings, you can adjust the focus, which is good just to keep at automatic. Below that, you have the picture where you can adjust the contrast and the saturation. Then below that, you have the exposure, which you can change, and this is probably the best one to adjust. So if you turn off automatic for this one, you can adjust your ISO, increase the shutter speed a little bit, but if it's still too dark like it is in my case, I'm gonna need to keep increasing my ISO. That's probably the best that I can get it there. Now we also have the white balance, which is typically good to keep on automatic, but of course you can adjust this if you'd like, if there's a certain type of color temperature that you would prefer. Processing, you'll be able to adjust if you have automatic switched on for your exposure. Now, if we go up to the effects tab, you'll have the ability to mirror or flip your video. If you have an RTX 20 series or newer graphics card, you'll have additional features here where you can adjust the blur in the background as well as green screening. Some fun features I wish could be integrated within this app without having to have an RTX NVIDIA graphics card. Now, if we go over to the bottom panel here, you're gonna see where you can adjust your preview format from 4K 60, 4K 30, 1080p 60, and down. You can take a screenshot within this application. The folder icon next to that will take you to the directory that your screenshots are in. And then all the way to the right, you have this nice grid feature so that you can line up and position yourself in the middle or off to the side the way that you want. Now that we've made adjustments within these webcams' respective applications, what do we think of the image quality compared to each other now? I honestly don't think anything major has really changed. Like, a lot of the auto features are really solid and pretty much the best image quality you're gonna get out of the camera for the most part. But I think for my eye, I gotta say that the Insta360 Link camera is looking better. I don't see as much graininess. It also handles the low light situation better that I'm in right now. You'll probably be streaming or gaming late into the night, so this is a good indication of what the camera would look like in those types of situations. Let's see how well these cameras handle autofocusing. I did notice that the Insta360 webcam is a tad bit faster focusing, but I gotta say that the Facecam Pro has a slight edge based on the fact that you can hold objects closer to its lens. From a computer performance perspective, both the Insta360 Link and the Camera Hub software are taking up about the same amount of energy on my computer. Now that we've taken a deep dive into each of these webcams, which one can we say is the best? Well, I think I'm gonna have to go with the Insta360 Link on this one, but for both of these being $300, that's still a lot of money, but I definitely understand the market for it, because think about trying to get 4K 30 or 4K 60 resolution. You're gonna be paying 3-4 times more for a camera lens setup to get that quality. With these two webcams, that resolution is much more accessible now. Plus, you get the most out of 4K when you have your video picture blown up to a much bigger size. If you're gonna be shrinking your face cam down on top of your gameplay, it's really not gonna be noticeable that that's 4K or even 1080p. I will say though, with the Insta360 Link, you do get more value for your money. You have the additional software controls, the gesture features, the AI, then you have the better image quality, which honestly makes sense because Insta360 is a camera company. They have many other action cameras on their website. But those are just my thoughts on these webcams. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say in the comment section below. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you want to see more streaming and gaming tech tutorials, and also check out this video here if you want to see a breakdown of several capture cards to see which one is the best. Other than that, I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.